Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today I want to talk a little bit about Rekkles and just kind of give an update on his whole situation. He's obviously a very popular player with a very storied career, but the rumors and speculation and stuff this offseason are really all kind of over the place for him. I think we kind of have it narrowed down to like 3, maybe 4 options at this point that we can go over in this video today, and some other information as well. But make sure you guys do check out the first link in the description below for my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/I_am_Germ. I would appreciate that a ton. The streams have been going really well recently. Check it out, drop a follow, maybe a sub, maybe a prime. With that being said, let's get right into this. So, I guess a good place to start with Rekkles stuff is the Wooloo spreadsheet, the one that he's been like streaming and stuff, the one that everyone's talking about. It's kind of Wooloo putting all the information he knows out there. And yeah, just kind of giving the latest update. So let's see, first what Wooloo had to say. We have all these teams, and the green means that Wooloo believes that those players are locked in. And you will see for the LEC, Wooloo focuses on the LEC. He doesn't know as much about the LCS, doesn't have as many sources for the LCS, whatever. But you will see for the LEC, there is a lot of green, which is not good if you're a free agent, because that means there's not a whole lot of opportunities left. So when we do take a look at some of the green as far as the AD carry position, you have Excel, who actually a new rumor coming out today was that Excel is going to be going with Patrick as their AD carry. So that eliminates one position already. And then you have BDS, also with an open AD carry spot. Grabs is there. People are saying, oh, Grabs and Rekkles have some kind of relationship. Some people speculate that it's a good relationship. Some people speculate that it's probably not the greatest relationship in the world, just with, how G2 went this last year, how different Rekkles was from the other, G2 members that had kind of been there for a while. But we also do know that, the rumor is that Grabs wants to go young. He wants to, really coach up a team and mold them to, how he likes or how he sees fit or whatever. So it doesn't seem like Rekkles would make a ton of sense for BDS. It does seem like the most likely BDS AD carry at this point is going to be X Maddie, coming from K Corp, which would be hype and exciting for that team. But Rekkles and BDS, it's possible. I just think it's very unlikely. I don't think a team like BDS is going to spend all the money on a Rekkles buyout, especially if they're probably trying to at best be like a middle of the pack team in the LEC, and they might even be worse than that. They have a lot of young players. They're really building for the future. They're not really playing for 2022. So again, I don't think Rekkles makes a ton of sense there. And that leaves us with the only other AD carry position open in the LEC, being Rogue. And Wooloo has said, and he did, I believe, say in the stream, that he thinks Rogue to Rekkles is possible. First off, obviously, this is if Rogue does end up selling Hansama to TL or whatever other team. It seems like Hansama to TL is like pretty much a done deal at this point. But, under that assumption that does get finalized, that does go through, it was rumored that Rogue was potentially considering Patrick. Obviously, if he's now at Excel, he's not going to be at Rogue. They're looking at some other ERL players like Lucker. And could Rekkles go to Rogue? It's really interesting because Rogue was obviously a very good team this last season. And if they lose Hansama, you'd think they'd want to get a good replacement AD carry, and they could get Rekkles and plug him in and maybe still be a good team in 2022, except that we also have the rumors of Inspired potentially being sold off and potentially heading over to North America. And a lot of people are saying right now, a lot of the speculation is like, if Inspired does get sold off, Rogue is probably not going to have super high hopes for 2022. They're probably going to want to build towards the future, and they're probably going to go with an ERL jungler, probably go with an ERL AD carry, go a little cheaper, and, try and retool for maybe like a 2023 run or something like that. But if Inspired stays, which I'm hearing is very unlikely. It sounds like there's some kind of difference of opinion between Larson and Inspired or something, or maybe Inspired just really wants to go to North America. I don't know entirely, but it seems like something's going on there. But say Inspired does decide to stay, Rekkles' chance of going to Rogue all of a sudden gets a lot more likely. But other than that, that's it. Those are the 2 AD carry positions that are open in the LEC right now, which obviously then leads us to North America, and obviously having to go through the buyouts and that whole situation. So we did kind of get these tweets or posts from Carlos. Perks posted this where Carlos had posted on Reddit that he said, where do people come up with these conclusions? It's sickening. People were speculating about what Rekkles' potential buyout is. I've heard 10 million, I've heard 8 million, I've heard 5 million. And Carlos is saying, how are you people getting these conclusions? It's sickening. Rekkles' buyout has been set to 2 mil, and I'll sell him anywhere he wants to be, not blocking any trades or anything like that. And then 11 minutes later, Carlos says on Twitter, I don't know, I'm not trying to get demonetized, but he says, "You dumb, continue to make up stories and numbers. Rekkles' official buyout is $1.5 million, plus he is free to go anywhere that pays this below the market buyout." So obviously, Perks is making fun of Carlos a little bit that his buyout changed in just 11 minutes. Carlos says, "Oh, I just, made a mistake and I went back and corrected it or whatever." But if Rekkles' buyout is truly only $1.5 million, that is going to be much more affordable for a lot of other people rather than 5, 8, 10, whatever. It's up to you to believe if you think Rekkles' buyout has always been $1.5 million, or if it started at a 10, an 8, a 5, whatever, and it's been slowly coming down as people maybe haven't been as interested as Carlos would have liked, or Carlos would have thought they were going to be, or whatever. But this just kind of gives you an idea of at least what Carlos is telling us. Again, maybe it's the truth, maybe it's not. Who knows at this point what NA teams would have to be paying if they were going to try and sign Rekkles. Because again, NA just seems much, much more likely for Rekkles at this point if he is willing to go to NA, if he is, wanting to continue to compete next season, because there's just not a lot of spots in the LEC, and we know already a lot of the LEC teams are not willing to spend as much money. They're not willing to throw out a $1.5 million buyout when they can just grab ERL players for like dirt cheap, and a lot of the times there's, some ERL players that end up being pretty good. So yeah, kind of interesting there. When we start taking a look at the LCS teams, people start speculating, where is he going to go? A ton of people have been throwing around the TSM name, and that's possible, but I know we've heard Reggie say they want to go a little younger, they want to go a little developmental, maybe they even want to go a little cheaper, maybe they don't want to keep throwing out these massive buyouts after, this past offseason they saw Cloud9 wasn't that, that the Perch buyout probably wasn't worth it in the end. TSM went through their own stuff with Sword Art, that probably wasn't worth it in the end, not making it to Worlds, not winning any titles, nothing like that. When Tactical's going to be on the market, I think Tactical does make a lot more sense for TSM. I don't know if TSM wants to go after a guy like Rekkles and pay his buyout and all of that. But what people are starting to say is that C9 Rekkles might all of a sudden be the leader in the clubhouse. It might make the most sense. We do know that Cloud9 doesn't necessarily love Sven. There have been some rumors that they maybe want to move on from him, some rumors that they're maybe going to keep him, who knows. But they already benched him in the summer split once. They, aren't necessarily in love with him for the long term. Also, Cloud9 is rumored to be getting Niski, and we know last offseason when Rekkles was still on Fnatic, before he left for G2, he was the one who put in the recommendation to Fnatic to sign Niski for the mid lane when they were replacing Nemesis. So we know that Rekkles thinks very, very high of Niski. We know he's, likes playing with him, willing to play with him, would love to play with him, whatever. So I think that does very, very much so increase the chances of C9 Rekkles. Now, obviously, again, TSM needs an AD carry. If EG sells off Danny to somebody, maybe they need an AD carry. But, it's seeming like Rekkles would probably go to a top team, and only the top teams are the ones going to be willing to pay that money for Rekkles. So it's looking at this point like Rogue, maybe Cloud9, maybe TSM. And then there's even the craziest rumor of all, probably, that potentially Carlos is willing to sit on some of these contracts and keep them in contract hell and just keep them on the bench and keep paying them until somebody's willing to pay their buyout, maybe, in between spring and summer or something like that. Now, that is very, very crazy. We haven't really seen anything like that. Maybe that's Carlos just, driving a hard bargain, trying to get his money or whatever. But, Rekkles is in a really, really weird spot. But those seem like the 3, 4, maybe most likely options for him at this point. But nothing's solidified at all. Nothing's concrete. It's all rumors and speculation. And everyone's really, really curious to see where Rekkles is going to end up, and I definitely am as well. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Tell me, drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Where do you think Rekkles is going to be in 2022? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!